Welcome to WagerTalk TV. This video is sponsored by YouWager.eu. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up. This offer is exclusive to WagerTalk. Guys, I'm Kelly Stewart, joined today by Teddy Covers and Ralph Michaels. Make sure you guys give them both a follow on Twitter. I'm just so excited about the national championship game. I'm mainly excited because college football is over and I had a really great bowl season and I'm ready to cash, well, PayPal my winnings. All right, let's talk about the Crimson Tide. They opened 6-point favorite over the Clemson Tigers, total 59.5. Teddy, I'll start with you.
Well, we did a video on this very game, what was it, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, just before the Bowls.
Yeah. Just before the Bowls. Yeah. And we said, at the time, the line was 7.5. And we said, this line is not going to be there. Take the 7.5 now. Hopefully, you listened to us at that point. If you like the Clemson side, 7.5 is obviously better than 6. What are we seeing now? Okay, these two teams haven't changed. Still the same two teams, but one team covered the spread last week, and one team didn't cover the spread last week. So the 7.5's a 7, 6.5 now 6. And shoot, as I was driving over to the studio, I was seeing 5s at the leading indicator books. There's clearly support for Clemson in the markets, and some of that has to do with how Georgia looked against Texas.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that as being a factor. I was on Oklahoma. I was very happy to get that cover. I didn't think that I was going to get there, and then I did have Clemson, and I did not expect quite of a blowout against Notre Dame as that ended up being. And I'm just going to use the old adage. I'm going to take the better defense here plus the points. Ralph, what are you thinking in this game?
Well, you know, the thing is, if you're a Bama fan, you're getting value because Bama had the 28-0 lead. They let it go. Ohio State had the lead against Washington. They let it go in the second half. You see the better team just relax, where Clemson jumped on them early, didn't have that expectation. But I agree with you. You know, you look at what they've done recently, and I am by no means comparing Pitt and Notre Dame to Oklahoma and Georgia's offense. But Clemson did hold those to season lows. So holding them to a good number is one thing. Holding a team to a season low is a different scenario. And in fact, Clemson has held 7 opponents to a season low this year. So the defense is legit. I think the defenses are close. I think the offenses are close. And what have you seen in the championships? The dog is 4-0 in these championships. You had Notre Dame last year with the chip on their shoulder for you losing the year before as the dog. And now, I mean, as the favorite, but they didn't cover. And now you have Clemson with the chip on their shoulder for losing the national championship. So how much is that chip on your shoulder worth? You know, it's worth a couple points. So to me, I just think there's value with the dog. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be, you know, one mistake can decide the game, but I will gladly grab any points I can with the Clemson Tigers.
Teddy, do we have an agreement here? Do we have a disagreement?
Sure. I mean, look, Alabama, personnel-wise, is better than Clemson.
Yes.
Alabama, personnel-wise, is better than a lot of teams.
Than every team.
But we've seen, you know, Saban with extra time to prepare. Well, the defense couldn't handle a mobile quarterback. You know, I mean, that defense got picked apart. Make no mistake about it. Alabama wasn't playing prevent. That defense got picked apart in the second half of that game. That's what everyone remembers. That's what everyone last saw. I honestly think the value right now is on the Alabama side, even though I do think Clemson's going to win the game. Clemson's going to compete in the game. So the bottom line for me is I haven't put out a play on this game yet. I haven't bet this game yet. You know, if I was going to have it's Clemson plus 7.5, it's a really good wager. Oops. You know.
Let me ask you this: any stock in playing the easier game first in the afternoon instead of the hot and humid game late into the night?
In terms of
the time, the extra 3 hours rest. Not playing in the humidity that Alabama played in, where the players were taking oxygen. Clemson had a pretty clean game. You didn't see guys winded in the second half.
Sure,
you saw Alabama winded, needing oxygen with heat and humidity. Takes a couple days to recover from that.
Probably does. But, of course, Clemson looked really good against a weaker opponent.
Yeah.
You know, and the team that looks good against a weaker foe tends to be a little bit of an overvalued commodity.
No question. Like we said,
I'm expecting a close game.
The 28-0 lead, blowing that Oklahoma covers certainly gives you value if you're the Bama fan.
Sure. Remember, if Oklahoma doesn't score the last touchdown coming through the back door, and Alabama wins that game by 18, I honestly think this point spread 6.5 or 7, not 5.5.
But you did bring up an interesting concept of how poorly Georgia played last night. And of course, we're going to hear the naysayers that said they didn't care about being there, all of these excuses, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. Georgia looked flat last night, and that's a team that had Alabama on ropes in the SEC championship game. So you think that also is built into this new line?
I think that's part of the support that we're seeing for Clemson is the fact that here's this team that just took Alabama to the wire. They had them on the ropes, and they came out and looked like crap against Texas.
I mean, the SEC hasn't looked well for most of the games that I watched.
Sure,
I mean,
Mississippi State
looked horrible yesterday. So that's,
LSU got the money, though.
yes, they did. But that was just more of a play against UCF on my part. But
again, bowls are motivation, period. But you know,
this is not a bowl where you have any
correct.
motivational
Yeah, there's no
questions.
motivation issue for either team.
okay, great stuff from both guys. Guys, this video was sponsored by WagerTalk. Get a 50% sign-up bonus when using promo code WT50 when signing up. This offer is exclusive to WagerTalk.